All right, how's it going, everybody? This is the Osmo.com NHL DFS Strategy Show. Big slate to talk about tonight, 12 games. We had 4 last night. We'll recap via lineup study. You've got the NHL lineup builder up on your screen. That is free today, so we'll be having all the features going on, and I'm joined, as I am for most Tuesdays, by Nolan Kelly. Nolan, how you doing, man?
What's going on?
Oh,
Getting ready for Christmas.
yeah,
Two
dude.
weeks left today. It's crazy.
Is it 2 weeks? No, th-
Well, tomorrow, but
yeah, 2 weeks plus a day from today. But yeah, man. Hopefully some Christmas binks coming our way in the next
I like
couple
it, man.
weeks.
There's a nice little 5K contest today,
The
$4.29. So
Yeah, I saw that. I forgot to register earlier today, so I just registered my contest over there. Uh, and you guys should register on Yahoo Daily Fantasy. They've got some nice NHL contests today, lower management fees. I've been playing NHL over there basically every day, just taking advantage of the management fees and a little bit different play style. Dual goalies, there's plus minus, so it's going to be different and it's going to be better for your wallet. If you're playing over here, especially if you're a low stakes player or just want some more action, I think Yahoo is a great place to play NHL DFS. They do have NBA contests as well. Those seem to fill up really quick, at least the $10 because it's 5K to first. Flatter payout structure, again, lower management fees. And then NFL. This week they're running out a 175K baller, 15K to first, 10.3% management fee. 15K to first, not your usual, 5K to second. It's 10K to second, 5K to third, 4K to fourth, and so on. So nice flatter payout structure. Over on Yahoo, you could put in, I think, 150 max still in this baller tournament. So use promo code OSMO when you sign up to get up to $30 in Yahoo Sports rewards points. All right. What else do we have, man? Oh, I know what we have. We have a giveaway going on today for NHL. Did you see this, Nolan?
no,
All right.
fire
Well,
it up.
well here we go. It's the pinned tweet on the Osmo_com Twitter account. We've already got a bunch of replies, but we're not going to get as many as what you're going to see in the NBA and NFL contests. So, very good chance, relatively good chance at least, that you're going to compete for this tournament. I guess you can call it a tournament. It is a giveaway. You can win a free Osmo Plus NHL season pass, $280 value, just for guessing the player that's going to score the most points tonight. So whoever gets it right, if there's multiple people, then we'll have a random drawing. But go do this. I mean, even if you are a premium member already, there's no downside really. You can win the Osmo Plus NHL pass for the rest of the year. So do that. I'll remind you guys towards the end of the show. And if you want to, feel free to give us a like if you like what we do here. That does help us continue to do this kind of stuff for free. All right. How did last night go for you, Nolan?
Man, neither
Same.
here nor there.
I think it was actually pretty bad for me.
You were up. I saw you up at the top for a little bit, and then it all just went to hell in a handbasket, right?
Yeah, I had it was a little bit deceiving because I think I had a ton of PMR. Guys had a ton of PMR behind me. I didn't have any of the PMR, so kind of got off to a hot start and then just completely faded. Tyler in chat says your fade, your haircut is pretty fire. So great reviews for your new
Thanks.
haircut, Nolan. I have to
I like
agree
it.
with him. Varley saved me. Ochi Blue said, let's look at the winning lineup. You see the top 4 finishers in the $10 last night were all single entries. So let's look at the guy who took it down, 197.4. And I do remember seeing this lineup. It was pretty much unstacked all over the place. I guess the stack he had was McKinnon and Ryan Graves, Brock Nelson, Ovi, Duclair, DeBrusque, Ryan Murray, Cam Atkinson. I guess there's a little bit of a stack there as well. But pretty uncorrelated, more of a cash build, I would have to say. And it was good enough to take down 10K and beat out, let's see, 3,800 and, or I'm sorry, yeah, 3,820, I guess, other entries. So congrats to Sergio P369. Again, a bunch of other single entries up at the top. Jay Gabby, guy I kind of know from online, really solid player. I think he plays a lot of the 20 maxes. He got fifth, it looks like here. Tierney, White, Duclair, so he had Ottawa 3 stack. Actually, White was, I think, Ottawa 2 maybe, but he had Nemesnikov as well. So 4 Ottawa forwards, Ovi, Holtby, Shabbat, Gio, and Patrice Bergeron. So interesting line of construction there, but it was a short slate. I thought that with the lines being so expensive, like the top lines, and they didn't really end up doing that much, the big guns, I felt like 3-2-1 and weird lineup constructions were going to be the way to do it. So it looks like that ended up working out. More cashy builds. Who won the 222? Chris MC68. Not sure I know this user, but he was also a single entry player last night. 165.8. Took it down. Barzell, Nelson, Pulak, McKinnon, Donskoy, Graves, Duclair, Kachuk. So played guys from the same teams, but not necessarily playing on the same lines. So it was actually ended up being a pretty weird night as far as the winning lineups that won. So, all right, that was a quick recap. Let's go through tonight's slate. You've got the line changes up. I saw you just posted them, correct? I think you're on mute. Nolan.
Sorry, my bad. Just see Adam Boqvist in for the Blackhawks tonight. Slater Kiku is out. A little recent news there.
There we go. All right, I think that game is going to be probably towards the end. So let's start with Tampa and Florida. We've got a 3.3 implied total for both sides. Andrei Vasilevsky and Sergei Bobrovsky in net. Once again, this lineup builder is free today, so if you guys want to follow along, feel free to do so. We've got point projections. We have the stack projection, and then you can kind of build lineups, export them, and import them up to your CSV edit template if you'd like on FanDuel and DraftKings. So what do we have for news and notes here? The two Florida teams, Tampa and Florida here.
All right, let me pull it up here. So Tampa looks like they are kind of messing with their lines a little bit. Verhaeghe's with Stamkos and Gord, Conacher, Chiarelli and Killorn, and then Mitchell Stevens up with Paquette and Maroon. I can't remember offhand who's sitting, but someone's sitting. And then on the Florida side, I think everything is the same on the Florida side.
Yeah, I mean, for this game, like, kind of weird because, I mean, I don't mind Point, Palat, and Kucherov. I felt like they were going to get a decent amount of ownership even on the road because of the healthy total, because people have been targeting Florida. But right now, they're around, like, points under 5%. We've got them right now on our DraftKings ownership projections. So, I actually don't mind them. Like, I thought I was just going to get off of them because of the ownership and because I like some other lines better. But I will get to some of the point line. And then I really like Florida 1. So let's see where they're at as well. They're actually pretty low owned that I'm looking at as well. So nothing really getting me off based on ownership here. Barkov, Huberdeau, Dadonov fully correlated on the power play. They're going to play big minutes. They're probably going to go up against Point, Kucherov, and Palat. No problem there, I don't think. And it's a good total. So that's the line I'm kind of going with on Florida's side. And then on Tampa, just to recap, I like Point, Kucherov, and Palat a little bit. But I don't think these two stacks are like top 5 for me in exposure, but I think they're probably going to be in the like 8 to 10 range. I'm playing 150 max tonight. Just if anybody doesn't know, I usually do whenever it's offered over on DraftKings. So what do you got here? You like anything?
Yeah, I mean, if they fit in with Winnipeg 1, then I'm all over it. That's my rule today.
Yeah. So, man, I feel like we should almost talk about that game first because of the total just rising in Comrie and net for Detroit.
It's one of the best situations I think I've ever seen, right? Like, it's like, yeah, the total's only 4 points. Yeah. What is it, 4.1 now?
Yeah, it's pretty high.
But like, man, I don't know. Bertuzzi's also a game time decision as well. He's expected to go, but no morning skate for them. So, anyways, yeah, I think I'm just gonna have a lot of exposure to that game. And so if lines fit in the 20 max, if lines fit with them, I'm more apt to play them. Get into a little Trocheck, Connolly, Hoffman. I think that line's at a pretty good price point. And then, like, do we have ownership yet?
Yeah, we got it a few minutes ago.
So I'm guessing like there's not too much ownership here.
No, there's not. I thought there would be maybe on the Tampa side with the Tampa power play, but it's nothing crazy. So I think this game is fine. Like if you wanted to stack it up, that's great. I don't think you need to get off of it because of ownership reasons. You got a $4,500 Yandel, $6,500 Hedman. Not really a guy that I'm targeting all that often, but I'll get to some Yandel with my Florida one. Again, I might make a rule once again with Yandel, just that if I play him, I have to play Florida one. He doesn't really have much upside, even at 4,500. Moved off the top pairing with Ekblad, now playing with Strawman, so maybe a little bit of a decrease in minutes, but he's fine for what he is. $4,500 power play quarterback that goes with a line that I like. So, ready to move it on from here?
Move it on.
All right, Montreal and Pittsburgh. We have a 2.8 implied total for the Canadiens, 3.6 for the Penguins. Carey Price and Tristan Yari, I think, going. It was expected to be Murray, but I don't know. The lineup sites fixed this, and now it's Yari. Did you see anything about that? And then do we have any more notes to talk about?
No, I haven't seen anything. I haven't checked goalies today at all. I think these lines are mixed up. I can't remember. But it's Cahoon, McCann, Tanev, Bluger, Simone, Aston Reese, and then Galchenyuk, Lafferty, Noasin. The Pittsburgh one top line led the slate in 5-on-5 correlated ice time the last game out, 36% share. So again, I think another great play just because of the volume, despite the price. The price will probably what's Rust at today? 6,800. So that price is going to continue to keep people off, and I will continue to be a little bit overweight on that. I think you don't need much to get overweight. And then on the Habs side, I think Riley Barber is in on the fourth line. I can't remember who's out.
Yeah. Pitt 1 is my favorite play here. Shocking. It's another pay up to be contrarian spot with Gensel and Rust priced through the roof. And I guess Malkin too, 8,200. It's not like you're getting a discount there, but I think it's a pretty good spot. Dano, Tatar, Gallagher, they're really a high event, and like offensively they're generating 80 shot attempts. Defensively, they do give it up quite a bit, and then the Domi line as well. Like they're really poor defensively, and they're more than willing to trade chances. So I think regardless, whoever Malkin's on the ice against, it's going to be a pretty solid matchup, and I'm fine paying up for them, especially when we might get Rust at like we've got him projected for 1% ownership. Even if he's like triple or quadruple that, like I still think it's worth it to be over the field on Pitt. So they might break into the top 5 for me, depending on where I get to my final crunch and seeing which lines I might get off of a little bit after seeing this new ownership, but I haven't crunched since we did get the new ownership. Pitt 1 is going to be, I guess you could call it like a core play for me, one of my highest exposed lines on the entire slate. And then if I'm going to a Montreal line, it's probably the Dano, Tatar, Gallagher line for the most part, just because that line's so good and you're just getting a pretty big discount. But like Pittsburgh, their defense has not been bad at all this season. I think they're actually up near the top in like scoring chances against and expected goals against. So not a phenomenal matchup for Montreal 1, but that would be the line that I would be going to if I was getting to a bunch of Montreal. Anything else you want to mention here?
No. I think I just looking at the Montreal power plays. They tend to like. There's no real number one power play unit for Montreal. So recently, both of the units getting about half the time or alternating a lot of the time. So maybe depending on who is fresher. The Montreal second line did lead the team in correlated ice time last time out, but not getting to much here either. Definitely Pittsburgh's one that is my go-to line in this game. Rust at 1% ownership. Sign me up for a sprinkle or two.
Yeah, I'm going to have more than a sprinkle of Pitt, and maybe even more, depending on, like I said, where I get to on my last crunch.
I'm just worried I can't fit Winnipeg 1 in with them. So
Right. Yeah, that's the problem, right? Winnipeg 1 is going to cause some issues tonight because of their price. But, and because of the situation. Seth says Vegas 1 is never disappointed. He said, why play Pit 1 when Vegas 1 is going to Hattie? Maybe they both will, Seth. So
Vegas 1 always disappoints. That's all they do this
I
year.
know. Yeah, classic troll. But yeah, Pit 1, my favorite play here. But that probably means that I'm not playing much Letang. Going to play some Schultz with Pittsburgh 1 or just play those 3 forwards by themselves. On the other side, I like Petrie for 4,100 paired with Montreal 1 if you're going there, or just by himself. I think it's a good price for Petrie.
Yeah.
And that's really all I've got.
Schultz, good price. Power play 1, quarterback, 23 probably minutes a game. Weber's our second highest projected defenseman, $1,000 cheaper than Yossi. So kind of like don't hit him if you're just trusting the projections.
Sure. Yeah. Weber, I mean, when he's shooting like he is, like the amount that he is, I guess 6,700 is not a crazy price, but I just don't like the second line as much as I do the first. So I guess that's what's keeping me off of Weber a little bit. All right, let's go to St. Louis and Buffalo. We've got a 2.6 implied total for the Blues, 3 for the Sabres, Jake Allen and Linus Allmark in net. Any changes here?
Yeah, St. Louis is screwing around with their lines again. They recalled Jordan Kyrou from the AHL. He's averaging about a point a game down there. I kind of like him actually in that spot. With Shannon Schwartz, I don't know if they're calling that the second line now. Tyler Bozak up with O'Reilly and Ferran. And then Austin Pogganski on the fourth line with De La Rose and McEachran. I'm going to say that's the worst line on the night. Call him that right there. And then Buffalo also kind of messing around with their lines a little bit. So it's Middlestat up on the second line with Evan Rodriguez and Jeff Skinner, BC Johansson, Asplund, and then Larson, Okposo, Girgensons. Getting a lot of ice time, but just beware of them. They get a lot of defensive zone starts. Pretty sure that they deploy at like one of the highest rates in the league. They're fourth line for defensive zone starts. So that's all I got on this one. They've also mixed around their bottom pairings, Bogosian, McCabe, Miller, Yoki Haru.
I don't really have much of anything I like in this game. Do you?
Did you lose me again?
Do you like anything?
Sorry, I lost you.
Do you like anything in this game?
What are we dealing with price points wise here for O'Reilly? Like he's priced up again. He was down a little bit. Like I feel like the Shen Schwartz Kyrou line is pretty appealing at their price point. And then not much on the Buffalo side. Eichel 8,000. I'm good.
Right. I mean, you can mix in the St. Louis lines, but like even then, I like a bunch of filler stacks better than what I'm seeing on like with Shen Schwartz, Kyrou. I mean, yeah, I guess pretty interesting with the near min salary Kyrou there, and just 2 cheap guys that are on the top power play. So that makes sense. Buffalo's just so boring, like targeting Buffalo games for DFS. And then like Buffalo 1, they're kind of expensive with Eichel at 8K.
Your boy Sam Reinhart hasn't done anything this year.
Yeah, and so like him and Olofsson.
Every time I look at Olofsson.
Yeah, they just like trade off. Like they go 2 weeks at a time where neither of them does anything. And so I don't know. I mean, I can't get to a lot of Buffalo 1 tonight. If they break the slate, then I'm fine losing. I don't think it's like that great of a spot for them against either the O'Reilly line or Shen Schwartz and Kyrou. Maybe they get there on the power play. They're fully correlated, and they're going to be pretty low owned. So I guess there's reasons to get to some of the Eichel line, but it would take a lot of lineups for me. And let's see. I don't even know if I got to any share. Yeah, I got to 0 of them based on these ownership projections. Like, I don't even know if I got any crunched out. Like, they just don't project all that hot for me. And just like looking at the matchup, there's not anything I really love, and that line seems to always kill me one way or the other. So
I also got 0, which is surprising. Like you think they'd be not the worst stack in the world, but
Josh says Reinhart goal in 2 straight. Is that right?
Yeah, 2. No, not the last game. He had 2 over the weekend, but
fair enough. All right, any defensemen you want to talk about here?
Ristolainen, 4,800 is, I think, playable on the power play 1. Parayko always grades out really well for us, though I don't really get why. I'm not a Parayko guy myself, except on a smaller slate because he tends to not get too much ownership. And then, of course, I think Justin Falk you can always go to at that price point. Those minutes are down a little bit of late.
I've got nothing on the defenseman either. So there are 5.5 total games that I like tonight. This is not really one of them. So maybe I'm picking the wrong one.
Totally fair. Nah, you're good. You're good.
I don't know. If this game beats me, like I said, I'm fine. I'm fine. Just move it on to the next slate. Let's go to San Jose and Nashville. We've got a 2.8 implied total for the Sharks, 3.7 for the Preds. Martin Jones and UC Saros expected to go here. I see a new look on San Jose's second line.
I don't think so. Yeah, I saw somebody post that in chat today, but LeBanc was on their last game, according to Left Wing Law. So,
but that is going to be the correct line, right?
Yeah, that's the correct line. Yes, it's LeBanc, Hurlmeyer. Everything looks the same to me on the Sharks side of things. And then on the Nashville Predators side of things, it is Granlund is a game time decision, but expected to go. They had an optional morning skate, but Granlund was out there, which is a good sign. Kyle Turris with Duchesne. And then I think everything else the same for them as well.
Yeah, looking at the projections here, none of the Nashville top line projects as a great value. And so I don't feel like that bad about not getting them in my crunches very much. What I'm probably going to do is force them in and see if they come up organic, see if I can get some of them with low-owned combinations. Because I think it's a fine spot for Johansson and Forsberg and Yarncroc, maybe a little bit overpriced for Yarncroc, and then Johansson. He's been cheap, so whatever. I'm fine paying $7,400 for Forsberg. He's probably going to be the one doing the goal scoring if they're scoring goals anyways. And then you've got Duchesne, Turris, and Granlund. I don't really love Turris, but that's going to be a filler line I use a little bit. At first look, I thought I was going to get a ton of the Nashville side, just knowing how the numbers work that I like to look at, and I just really didn't get to much of them. So that's really worrisome when they've got a 3.7 total here. Are you heavy on Nashville?
I've gotten so far in one crunch, I've gotten one share of, just straight crunching, basically four uniques. I'm getting one Nashville 1 and one Nashville 2. So but that's really just a product of I think our projections liking Winnipeg 1 so much. So I don't know. I'm just going to trust the projections here. I don't really have a hot take on it. I think they're in a good spot, right? Anytime you're going up against, is it Martin Jones in there?
It's supposed to be Jones. Jones is confirmed actually.
Good. So anytime you're going up against Jones, I think you gotta do a little manual bump there. But I got no problem going to any one of those Nashville 1, 2, 3 lines. The Nashville 3 has been projecting out really well for us as well recently, though. I'm seeing it maybe a little bit less so of late.
Nashville 3 has really good numbers. 70 Corsi 4 per 60. They've got, almost 29 scoring chances 4 per 60.
That's nuts.
Yeah,
this might be the night for them. It's been a little bit. Benino's still priced up, but I guess he had 2 points in his last game. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, so kind of stinks that there's 3 lines in play here. But looking at Nashville 1's numbers, there's no reason I shouldn't be playing this line tonight if they're going to be low owned, and we've got them projected to see pretty low ownership. And because a lot of people are going to be low owned, a lot of lines if you're not named Winnipeg 1 or Winnipeg 2. So there's obvious value on this slate, and this really isn't it, Nashville 1. But that always presents an opportunity, especially when you've got an event-based sport like hockey. I wouldn't be surprised if Nashville 1 was the highest scoring stack and Forsberg had a hat trick or something like that. I need to get to more of this line, so I'm kind of pivoting on the fly here. I'm gonna play some Nashville 1. I don't see this being a spot where I should get off of them if they're gonna be low owned with a 3.7 implied total. So certainly going to get to some more Nashville 1 than I anticipated even before we started talking about this game. Problem is you can't pair them with Yossi super easily since he's 7,700, and rightfully so. He's been insane this entire year. I think he was my highest owned guy. Let me check on this. Yeah, he's my highest owned. What's that?
Who's your highest owned guy, Yossi?
Yossi. Yeah, he's my highest owned player right now on the slate. So especially if I'm playing him at that price, I feel like I need to pair him with some Nashville 1 in some of my lineups. So Yeah,
Yes,
give me some Nashville one. Yeah, I'm itching to pair up Yossi with someone. Yeah, I mean, I even said that. So, yeah, I'm in on some Nashville
Yeah.
one. 2 is a decent filler. Same thing with 3, but like I said, I'm just gonna force in some Nashville one and see what happens here because good numbers. I think pretty good matchup, high total and low ownership. I think it'd be kind of stupid
Good
of me not
combos.
to. What's that?
Yeah. Good combos.
Yeah, exactly. 3.4 expected goals per 60 for this line. I know it's a small sample with Yarncroc up there, but we know Johansson and Forsberg have been amazing with basically whoever they've played with the last couple of years. Anything on the Shark side?
Sorry, just getting a message in Slack here. Shark side, yeah. I mean, like, I think the thing I like the most about it is just the ownership. You're not getting any on San Jose 2, which is they're at a decent price point. San Jose 1 as well is kind of fine. And actually, San Jose 3 led them in correlated ice time at 5-on-5 last game as well. Cheap stack, but I'm not super into it. But yeah, I like both of them. I feel like I'm gonna just have like one share of each of them tonight, kind of thing.
Out of 20 lineups, right? Is that what you're saying? Okay. Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, right now I don't have any Sharks 2, but that would be like that's the line that I like the best. Just looking at it, LeBanc 3,700. Good prices for Meyer and Hurdle. Maybe you get to avoid some time against Johansson and Forsberg. So yeah, that's the line. Maybe you take a stab on them before they get hot because that's a really talented line offensively. So I like it. I like that Hurdle and Meyer are playing with the real winger. Yeah, Burns, Carlson, 6,400 for Burns, 5,900 for Carlson. Not really priorities for me tonight. I don't know about you though.
No, I'm good. I'm surprised that you're like Yossi's your most owned player at that price point, but I guess I get it. It makes sense. He's just got such a pretty safe floor and obviously the upside there. What's Burns at? 64?
Yeah, Yossi 8 shots on goal last game. Like he's getting the 3 block bonus every few games, getting the shot on goal bonus. He's playing 26, 27, 28 minutes. Like he's just a beast.
Carlson's price is up, but he's been playing better of late, getting tons of shots on net. So I don't hate it, but it's like $500 more than we've been paying for a month. So
yep. All right, let's go to the Ducks and the Wild. 2.4 implied total for the Ducks, 3 for the Wild. We've got John Gibson and Capo Kakinen in net. Any changes here? I mean, it's the Ducks, so there usually are, but I'm not seeing anything crazy.
I don't think there are, but it was only an optional skate for them this morning, so we won't know. Probably won't even know at all, to be honest with you. I don't know if they have a beat writer on the road or not. Maybe it's that Iceman cometh Twitter handle. He seems to be on it. Yeah, just that Spurgeon's out and Dumba's getting some uptick. That's the only thing I really noticed here, and that he seems to be a really good play tonight. And probably one of the only – I don't mind these Minnesota lines. I'm not super excited about them, but my favorite player of this game is Matt Dumba, and I'm going to have 0 and 9 Ducks tonight, I think.
You're going to have 0 Ducks?
0 Ducks.
So I usually don't say I'm going to have, like, 0 of anyone, but, like, I might get to 0 Ducks tonight. Like, stacks, defenseman.
I like it.
Like I'm scrolling through here, I don't really see anything.
The only team that's grosser is the Red Wings.
Oh, dude, the Red Wings have Larkin, like, and they're cheap.
But like Bertuzzi is a game time decision, and I guess you're.
I mean, that's an opportunity, right? Bertuzzi game time decision. I mean, but they even have like. Right. I'm not saying I'm going to be pounding Detroit or anything, but yeah, the Ducks look pretty brutal here. The Wild are playing well. They're not giving up a lot of scoring chances. And I like these lines, too. Like, we've seen Zucker, Zuccarello. I think they've been pretty disappointing, but they've been cheap, so they keep getting played. This might be a decent spot to jump on them. I think Eriksson Ek, Greenway, and Cunnin are probably going to see the most time against Getzlaf, Shore, and Terry. That's probably not a terrible matchup for them, but they're 3 wingers. Third line, I'm not going to force myself to play third lines, even though they project pretty well. So if you wanted to, or take 2 of them, Cunnin and Greenway, or Cunnin and Eriksson Ek, or whatever, I like the move up to Donato, centering Prezi and Fiala. That line's probably not going to be good defensively, but I think offensively, they could certainly make some noise, and they're super cheap. So I'm taking some stabs at Minnesota 2, the new version of Minnesota 2. I mentioned with Sharks too, like maybe you jump on them before they get hot. Like this line's got a lot of offensive talent. Who knows how they're going to play together? But Steele, Raquel, and Silverberg, I think, have been pretty poor defensively so far. So maybe they get matched up against them for a good amount of time. Henry, Kasha, they're historically not great defensively either. And like I said, I don't think they're going to have to face the Getzlaff line. So I kind of like Minnesota. Someone asked in chat before we started this game, where's the value? I think the Minnesota side has some pretty good value here.
Mm-hmm.
Compare Dumbo with...
Price points.
Go ahead.
Sorry, just saying price points are nice on them. That Minnesota 1 line got a ton of ice time last game together. So I don't hate it at all.
Yeah, I think just too cheap. So let's see. Do we have... Like, I feel like the stall line on these big slates, yeah, they're at like 5% ownership. That's fine.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit like over-owned compared to some other lines, but that's not even like I usually avoid them on these bigger slates where they're kind of optimizer plays. Here, I think it's a fine spot for them, so I'm not going to avoid them. But the line that I'm making the bigger stand on looks to be Minnesota 2, and that makes sense in my head as well. So I like when the numbers and what I look at on natural stat trick or whatever are lining up. So give me some Minnesota 2. There's one of my favorite values of the night.
No, Ryan Donato, eh?
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't really gotten a fair shot so far in Minnesota. It seems like, but he's 2,700. Like, he's good. He's expected to be good offensively. He's super young. I think he's quite a bit younger than me. Like he might be like 22, 23 or something like that. Fiala's solid. You know my feelings on Fiala. Parisi, a guy that he can still score goals at 5,100, and they're fully correlated on the second unit. So that's the one downside, I suppose.
I like that call. Are you with me on Dumba too?
Yeah, 4,700 for Dumba. The minutes are up. The results kind of aren't. But if you're going with Minnesota 1, he's probably your guy, or my favorite one-off guy on Minnesota. And then if you're going to a different guy, maybe Brodin for 2,800. Brodin and Suter, not the most exciting defenseman plays, but I guess they're pretty cheap, and they both play solid minutes. Anything on the Anaheim side before we get out of this game?
I'm good.
All right. Detroit, Winnipeg, the premier game of the night here. 2.4 implied total for the Red Wings. Alex has the Jets at 3.7. Some sites you might see a little bit higher. Eric Comrie in net going for Detroit. Laurent Brossoit for the Jets. We got some Jets chalk here. Do we see any changes, first of all?
I'm not seeing much on the on the Winnipeg side of thing. Did you see anything?
I think we've had the same lines for weeks
not my
now,
job,
feels
no.
like.
Detroit side of things, they are
Bertuzzi.
missing things up a little bit. Bertuzzi's a game time decision. I'm thinking he goes. They had an optional morning skate, I think, today, so we won't know until half hour before. Phil Pula, Abdelkader's back in. Trevor Daley is back in. Ronick. Just gross all around. This is one of the grossest lineups I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Outside of Larkin and Bertuzzi. Maybe Fabry.
So Detroit's really bad. We know that. But they do have Larkin and Bertuzzi, hopefully Bertuzzi, and then with Fabry, they've been so bad at 5-on-5. So if Mantha was here, this would be way different. I'd probably be crazy overweight on Detroit 1, trying to run it back in a game that expects to have some pace and a backup in net. No Hellebuck for the Jets tonight. Not that they really need him here. No. So if I am going to Detroit, it's very, very clearly Larkin, Bertuzzi, and Fabry. Maybe you get Bertuzzi at lower ownership, and because they've got a low total, I don't think they're going to be heavy targets. I still think they're going to be able to generate offense against Scheifele, Connor, and Line. Like, that line doesn't have great defensive numbers, and if Detroit's going to score a couple goals here, or 3 goals if things go really well for them, hard to imagine Larkin gets left out of it. So I think they're a little bit under-owned, and you might get an ownership discount, like I said, on Bertuzzi if he gets ruled in. If he gets ruled out, I'll probably be scrambling a half hour before this game starts to try to swap off that line. But I do actually like Detroit. I think that's just good value for a duo in Larkin and Bertuzzi. Yeah, they don't have Mantha, but you're getting full correlation. And like I said, I think the matchup is pretty solid. So Scheifele, Connor, Line, that's going to be your chalkiest line of the night, it looks like, for good reason. Like, they're probably too cheap for the spot. The total keeps rising. Comrie and net is a big upgrade, even though Bernier and Howard both stunk this year. So whoever it would be in net for Detroit, it doesn't really matter. Like, Winnipeg 1's going to be chalk. Just be aware of who you're playing them with. So, like, if it fits really easily with Winnipeg 1, you've probably got a good chance of being duped.
Dallas 1's probably going to be the most obvious double stack, I'm guessing. Dallas 2 looks like they're getting their fair share of ownership.
LA 1.
And Toronto 2.
Yeah.
Toronto 2, LA 1. Those are going to be the most common.
Yeah. So, when I say that, it's not like you can't play those guys, but, like, if you can slam in 2 good defensemen with a line, with the chalkiest line of the night, like, you're probably going to be duped, which is fine. Like, it'd still be nice to tie for first place, but you're just, like, things have to go perfectly for you to win in that scenario. And then even if you do, you're probably splitting the top prize. So I'm trying to just get unique combinations with Winnipeg 1. And as far as exposure goes, that's probably going to make me lower than the field on Winnipeg 1 as a full stack. I would still guess I have 10 to 12% of them, somewhere in there. But I'm just having trouble, like, finding enough unique stacks to where I'm going to be crazy overweight on them. So probably a little bit underweight on Winnipeg 1. Let's see. Winnipeg 2, it looks like I'm actually splitting my exposure pretty decently between the two. So probably a little over on Winnipeg 2 here. What are you thinking?
Yeah. That's the other one too, right? Like, I was just going to check the ownership here because I like Winnipeg 2 too. Is it? 12%. So, like, it's not like you're getting a huge ownership discount, though. I'm guessing if we go to Jack Roslovich, 5% owned. So you're getting about 25% of the ownership on Winnipeg 2, and I like that move as well. So going to have one of those lines probably in every single one of my 20 tonight.
Yeah, I think that's a fine strategy. I mean, great spot. Like, even if they disappoint, like, you still might be able to get there with Winnipeg 2 as well because of their price. Like, if you've got another solid mid-tier line, or you game stack it with the Larkin line or something like that, I think you still have some caching equity. Whereas if Winnipeg 1 disappoints, and it's hard to imagine they do, but this happens all the time. We saw Vegas get crushed at home against the Rangers the other night. Like, it happens all the time. So if they do disappoint, I'm certainly not going all in on them. I will be heavier on other lines than Winnipeg 1. But when I do play them, like I said, just look for some lower owned, either filler stacks, play a 3-2-1, play a unique defenseman, or do something a little bit weird if you're playing a full Winnipeg 1 stack, I guess is my advice.
Yeah, 100%.
And use our ownership projections to do so. That's the best way to do it. Thomas Prime in chat says, I would be shocked if the ownership isn't 15 to 20% for Winnipeg 1. You are exactly right, Thomas. In fact, we've got one guy expected to be over 20% in our ownership projections right now that are done by the #1 DFS player in the world. If you want to get access to those and a bunch more, use promo code HitTheIce for 50% off your first month of any Osmo Plus monthly package. Anything more in this game? Do we want to talk about any defensemen? Nemeth is on the other side. I know we always got to mention Nemeth, $2,900. No, don't need to play Nemeth tonight, but Pionk, Morrissey, those are the two guys getting the power play time for the Jets. Do you like either of those two guys?
Yeah, I like Pionk tonight. He had about a 12-minute share last game with Winnipeg 1, so seems to be getting both power play and regular ice time, 23 to 27 minutes over his past 5. Sign me up at that price point. Assist first defenseman, puck mover, but I will definitely be having some 4-3s in my builds today for sure.
I like it, man. I don't think I'm gonna be like super high.
Getting a lot crunching.
You're not getting a lot?
I got 0.
So I usually crunch out a bunch of 4-3-1s as well as like 3-3s and stuff like that. And so, like, I'll get Pionk, but mostly just with Winnipeg 1. I'll get Morrissey, but mostly with Winnipeg 2. That type of thing. I'm not really looking to choose those guys much as one-offs. if I had to choose one of them, it would probably be Morrissey as a one-off for 4,900. I think that's a pretty decent price. You see, he's almost got that. He's over that 2x value threshold that we're looking at. So is Pionk, but I guess I prefer Morrissey a little bit more. What else are we gonna mention? I think that's good in this game. Are you gonna get to any Detroit one actually?
Ooh, I don't know. I don't think so, but
They're
I like
pretty
the
low.
call.
They're pretty low.
Yeah.
So this is the Tom J.K.
Yeah.
It's a later game. It's not right at lock, so you're not gonna know. You're gonna have to pay attention. If Bertuzzi's in, and he's listed in, so maybe people will just have him, and if he's out, like
I think
people will just
will have him. Yeah.
But
People, it's not one of those situations where they're like a late ad, so
right.
That's mitigated. But also, I think people are just going to be scared off stacking this game. So I think stacking Detroit one and one a big one or two is a kind of a decent move.
I think so as well. All right, mentioned how you get the 50% off the first month, but if you want a chance to win a free Osmo Plus NHL package, just got to go to this tweet, follow the directions, guess the player that's going to score the most fantasy points on tonight's slate. And if you do so and you're by yourself, you're going to win a $280 value Osmo Plus NHL season pass. For the rest of the year, you get to hang out with us, premium Slack, ownership projections, player projections, rankings, stack rankings, goalie stats, skater stats. We've got all of it. So yeah, do that. And it's free, so why wouldn't you at least give it a shot? Chance to win a pretty nice value. So here you go. Gonna post this in chat. Actually, I just did. And that's that. So let's go on to the next game here. New Jersey and Dallas. We've got a 2.2 implied total for the Devils. One of the lowest totals I've seen in Alex's so far. Dallas at 3.2. Mackenzie Blackwood and Ben Bishop in net. Dallas, I don't know. Should we talk about the Dallas news that we
I don't know what's going on. Lots of speculation around this. Jim Montgomery wasn't too kind to us DFSers, though, so I'm okay with him being gone. They play a pretty regimented style, which is surprising. I think his rep coming in as a coach was as like a more free-flowing offensive guy, but correct me if I'm wrong there, chat. Yeah, I don't know. Which looks like probably the same lines, though. I'd probably keep an eye on this one in case we get something crazy. You never know if you could see Pence again, Radulov or something in pregame skate. Rick Bowness is the head coach, man. This is going back. I think he was head coach of like the Ottawa Senators back in 1991-92 when they had the worst record in the history of the NHL. So nice guy, beloved by all, but kind of like a player's coach. And I don't know what it's going to be like for them right now. It's going to be interesting. I'm surprised to see like how high the Dallas ownership is tonight. But it looks like people are all in on Dallas. One is kind of like the second highest owned line. I think lines wise, most of these, I think everything's the same unless you saw something I did not.
No, this is what I saw as well. So I was kind of worried that we'd see pretty hefty Dallas ownership, and that looks to be the case. I mean, Ben is $4,900, and he's playing against the Devils, who've been putrid this whole season. Nice total here for the Stars. But, like, if you just look at the total compared to the prices and then projected ownership when you're comparing, like, Dallas to Minnesota, like, I know Dallas has the bigger names. We've got Sagan and Ben and Radulov and all that, so I get it. Like, they're so much higher owned right now, and it's basically the same total. Basically, I mean, a similar matchup as well, Devils and the Ducks. I don't have them being that different. I guess Gibson is a difference maker. But, like, I'm just seeing Dallas being a little bit over-owned right now, at least in my opinion. And so, again, just be aware of who you're pairing Dallas with. I know everybody likes playing the min-salary guy, playing with Sagan and Ben, but who knows what this new coach is going to do as far as keeping Janmark on that line. Will we see Radulov with Sagan and Ben? Who knows? Will we see Hintz with Sagan and Ben? I think maybe that's how you get different is play Rupe Hintz with Sagan and Ben and just power play stack it up against the Devils. I don't know. You've got options here to get a little bit weird. I don't know if I'm going to end up playing Janmark or just putting Hintz on the top line or just saying power play stack Dallas or what. But the ownership is worrying me here when I look at some other spots that look similar.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think, it might not work out tonight, but I think you're better off. I think you're better off fading a line like that tonight at like 12% ownership Like Matthias Janmark's getting 11% ownership tonight. I guess he's cheap. That's why, right? $2,500 center on DK. So that does make some sense. But man, you better get creative if you're throwing those guys in as well.
Yeah.
Same principle.
So it's not the same as Winnipeg because it's like cheap. This is cheap chalk, and it's a fine spot. But so you have more options to get weird. But like if you're just plugging in these guys with your favorite like defensemen that everyone's gonna play, like if you plug in Dallas one with, let's see, who are a couple of the top owned defensemen on tonight's slate, like Gio and Yossi or whatever, Gio and Yandel or Letang or whoever you choose, like you might be a 1v1 away from someone. There's going to be a lot of overlap, and that's not terrible. Your cash equity is probably going to be a little bit higher because it's not like they're 40% owned or whatever. So if they fail, you're dead. But yeah, it's just the ownership I think is a little bit too high on Dallas. So if they go off, I'm probably not going to have a great night. Unless I just land on the complete nut combination. But right now I'm sitting at about 7% of Dallas one. And I think I'm comfortable with that as long as I look at these lineups and I feel like I'm getting unique combinations similar to Winnipeg one, what I was saying there. So that's really it.
What about the contrarian Devils one stack?
Yeah. They always come up for me. I don't know what it is. Let's see. Do we have them as a... I guess I didn't pay attention to just like their values, but they're not grading out as like exceptional values. If you're trying to get to that 2x threshold, Hall's the only one that's really close. Palmieri we've got way down there, but I don't know. I mean, they're cheap. It's a crazy low total, low total. But you get Hall and Palmieri for cheap and low ownership. I guess there's probably a case to be made for them. I got to way too much of them. And they're getting bumped up because we've got them at like 2% ownership. So they're probably a little bit underowned in that sense. Did we lose you there, Nolan? I think we might have lost him. So hopefully he comes back. But anyways, I think New Jersey one is probably a little bit underowned. I doubt I end up making a huge stand on them. This projects to be such a low-scoring game, and the Devils stink. I will say, though, they have been better with Hughes on that top line, just looking at the last few games. And even season-long numbers with Hughes compared to Nico on that top line. So take it for what it's worth. Maybe New Jersey 1 is a way you can get contrarian with Winnipeg 1. Just take a low-owned stack that's got talented players. I guess not the worst idea in the world, but the matchup is pretty daunting. What else here? Nolan coming back. There's Nolan. All right. You cut out there. What was the last thing you heard me say? I kind of went through the rest of the Stars game.
You're good. You should probably move it on.
Any defenseman? I like Hiskinen a lot, actually, for 4,600.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, I like that too. All
right, let's go to Carolina and Edmonton. We've got a 2.9 implied total for the Hurricanes, 3 for the Oilers. James Reimer expected to go against Mikko Koskinen. Neither goalie confirmed. Good God. What are we doing with Edmonton here?
Oh, man. It's pretty ugly, right? It's Carolina, right?
Carolina, Edmonton, yeah.
Yeah, so Nichas is in on the third line with Walmart and Zingle. Kind of like that as a little cheap filler stack there. Everything else stays the same. Well, Brock McGinn's down with Martin Nook and Julian Gauthier. On the Oilers side of things, looking pretty ugly here. We got Joakim Nygard up on the top line with Connor McDavid and Zach Kassian, and Jujar Kyra up with Nugent Hopkins and Draisaitl. So Gaetan Haas centering Chason and Neal. Nuge on the top power play unit with Neal. I don't know what to do here. One off McDavid, two off Nuge and Draisaitl.
It's so hard. Like, this is where I try to get creative with Fantasy Cruncher and maybe just put the best skaters as line 1 or whatever. Any line, you can put them as line 2, 3, whatever. But you just put McDavid and Draisaitl and Nugent Hopkins and Neal on the top line, and maybe you could also make a rule and say, like, play them with Clefbaum. It's kind of expensive, but I just feel like, all right, I don't really want to avoid McDavid here on the slate, just having the luxury of 150 lineups, like just completely avoiding the guy with maybe the highest upside outside of McKinnon in the NHL for NHL DFS at least. just because his line mates that he's going to start the game with suck. So I want to play him in some form or fashion. And looking at the matchup here, Carolina's got a good penalty kill, but they're also one of the most penalized teams in the NHL. So completely different than what we've seen the last few years. I think they're top 6 or 7 in time shorthanded. Edmonton's got the best power play from just a success rate standpoint so far this season. So just playing the guys that are all on the top power play, Nugent Hopkins, Draisaitl, Neal, like pick 3 of them. You could also make rules to have to include McDavid in your Edmonton stacks. Like there's ways to play this game and play unique combinations and get in Clefbaum. That's going to be way different than what a lot of people are going to do, because like McDavid, Nygaard, and Kassian's probably going to be a pretty decent optimizer play. And maybe they score a full line goal and I'm completely wrong here, but I don't really want to play McDavid with Nygaard and Kassian. Like all the time we see weird things happen with the Edmonton lines. So you can play McDavid and Kassian. I think they're pretty safe to stay together because we've seen that for like over a year now when they've stuck together. But I like Edmonton power play here. I'm just trying to figure out the best way to kind of attack this. Do you like stacking up either of these even strength lines?
No, I'm not going to. I think I'm just going to run some straight 3-3s tonight, not get super creative. If I was doing 150 like you, I probably would, but I'm just going to stick with the standard and try and eke out a win that way. I kind of like the Carolina side of things here as well a little bit, but I'm not going to have too much Edmonton tonight.
Yeah, give me some. Well, wait 1 minute. Stahl, Svechnikov, and Fogle, like their numbers so far, it's kind of a short sample, but they've given up like 1 high danger chance in like 50 minutes. Like they're so crazy. Solid defensively. And it's going to come up. Like they're going to give up chances, probably against McDavid at some point tonight. But that's a line you just want to avoid kind of entirely for me right now. So that's also what makes it tough to play McDavid with bad line mates. I mean, once again, I like Aho, Niederreiter, and Teravainen. That line looked amazing in Minnesota when they played a couple nights ago. They got pretty good results. The whole line, like Nino didn't do a ton. But yeah, I'm all over that line against who knows who they're going to be out on the ice against. Like they're probably going to see some of the third line that looks awful for Edmonton. Their numbers are insane. Power play time for Aho and Teravainen. You compare them with Dougie. Really, really love me some Carolina too. And I like the ownership that we're seeing out of them right now.
Yeah, that's fair. Almost no ownership as well. Carolina has the 3rd best penalty killing unit in the NHL right now. So Edmonton scores a lot of their goals on the power play. They're number 1 unit in the league. So
it's crazy.
Not the greatest matchup for them.
All right, let's go to Calgary, Arizona. We've got a 2.5 implied total for the Flames, 2.9 for the Coyotes. Cam Talbot expected to go, actually confirmed against Antti Raanta. What do we see here?
So nothing on the Arizona side. Calgary has 2 things going on. It's Matthew Tkachuk, possibly a game time decision. I don't think he left last game. So one of the beats was just reporting that he may not play tonight. And they also called someone up whose name escapes me right now, but that's kind of leading people to believe that he won't play. So check the lines if you're going to roster any Flames, and Dylan Dubé as well. Didn't really play with that Monahan backline line. They moved Gaudreau up pretty quickly. So that's about it from the Calgary side. I don't know. I'm getting to a little bit of the Soderberg line in this one, and that's about it.
The who?
The Soderberg line.
Soderberg? Oh, okay. Yikes. Yeah, I don't really love anything in this game. Another low total game, so I always try to take a look and see if there's anything I can play here that I can kind of get excited about or look at ownership. We're seeing that Calgary 2, the Monahan Backlund duo is pretty low owned, and Dubé was off that line right away. I don't know if you just mentioned that there. I was looking something up right there, but Dubé was off that line like right away, and it was Gaudreau there. So maybe you play Gaudreau with them. I'm not sure how they're going to start it if Tkachuk's out, which it's looking likely that he's going to be out. Who knows what the lines are going to look like? Maybe they go back to Monahan with Gaudreau and Backlund centering his own line. I don't know what's going to happen with pregame skate, so it makes it tough. Plus, it's 2.5 implied total. I'm not really keen on like playing a ton of Flames anyways. And then on the other side, like Stepan, Keller, and Hinostroza, that might be somewhat of an optimizer play. I thought we might see like sneaky 5, 6, 7% ownership on them. Right now, it's not that high, but like I think they might be higher than what we have, just because Keller's going to grade out as a good value, Stepan's going to grade out as a good value. But that line together has been really, really low event at 5-on-5, so that's worrying me a little bit. I'm probably going to end up muting my exposure on them to like 2 or 3%, and I can't really talk myself into any of these Arizona lines. It's really tough to get news on them too, is like the worst part. So who knows what's going to happen?
We won't know anything beforehand. The Schmaltz line got the bulk of the 5-on-5 correlated ice time last time.
Okay. The correlation stinks too, besides the Stepan Keller line. That's what's making me think that we're a little light on them as far as what we have them projected for ownership. So some interest in Monahan, Backlund, and Gaudreau as a 3-man. You'd have to make that manual change in FC or whatever. But this game stinks. Good value for Giordano, 5,600. I know he had a pretty big game last night, so maybe there's some recency bias there. But I don't know. There's cheap skaters on both sides, but I like Minnesota better, and then obviously everyone likes Dallas better. And this seems like kind of a similar spot for Arizona and a team that I can't really ever figure out. All right, well, 2 more? What do we got? 2 more, 3 more? All right, we're running a little bit behind.
3 more.
Maple Leafs, Canucks, 3.4 implied total for the Leafs, 3.1 for the Canucks. Freddie Anderson, Jacob Markstrom in net. What do we see here?
Leafs switched things up. I think it was before last game. I don't know. I must have missed something. But yeah, like totally new lines there. Hyman back up in his usual spot with Tavares and Mitch Marner getting a lot of ownership on that one. Pontus Aberg up on Toronto 1. Kerfoot, Mikheyev, Kapanen. Kind of like that line a little bit. Toronto 3. And on the Vancouver side of things, Jody Benn was a game-time call. I think he's looking good to go. He was at the optional morning skate. He was sick, and Sutter is out again.
I'm surprised we see so much ownership on projected ownership on Matthews right now. Like, he's one of our highest projected skaters. I get it. It's a 3.4 implied total. I think he's going to be matched up against Horvat. Not really a guy I love messing with all that much at 5-on-5. Especially on a bigger slate if I can avoid it. Now, Matthews is amazing. So, don't let me talk you off him if you like the spot. It's a good total. But I'm going to be lower than the field on where we have Matthews and Nylander and Aberg. I can't remember what the pronunciation is. We haven't had to talk about him in like a year. But I like Tavares and Marner as a combo here for 6K. For an average of 6K each. You can add in Hyman. He's not the biggest plug, and he's $3,700, so that's where I'm okay playing him and playing this line as a whole, and usually get pretty low ownership for him. So that's going to be the line I target for Toronto more than Toronto 1. I thought I would get to a bunch of Vancouver, but I've got almost nothing right now. Do you see anything you love?
I mean, I just think the line's a little bit expensive for this matchup, right? Like, it's a fine play, and it's probably going to be a pretty high event game, but, like, this is one of the more expensive lines on the slate, so I'm off it because of that reason.
Yeah, so we obviously crunch by projections. If you crunch with our projections, they're going to come up as, like, one of the higher raw point lines, but they're overpriced. So what I was saying with Pitt 1 and Nashville 1 to some extent, like, This feels like a line, the Pedersen line, that I should be getting to at least a little bit. So I'm going to go in after the show, and I've got to do some more crunching and some more manual stuff probably. But I really wasn't getting to much of them. I think that's going to come up. Even if it's like 5% or 6% of this line, I'd feel much better than having essentially nothing of them right now. So that's what I'm planning to do with Vancouver 2. I guess we call them Vancouver 2, the Pedersen line. The better line here. I'm not that interested in Horvat, Pearson, and Levo, even if they come up as the better value or whatever. Hughes, no Edler, correct. How long is Edler out for? kind of an aside there.
He's on the IR, right?
Okay.
So
he can't come back for a while.
Reevaluated in 2 weeks, and that was a week ago.
Nice. So I just felt like we were gonna get some surprise thing that Edler was gonna be back or whatever, and that would kind of nuke Hughes. But he's 5,400. He's playing good minutes. Top pairing. I have no problem pairing him with Vancouver too if you're going that route. And then I don't really have much on the Toronto side. You kind of know who the guys are that you want to play, Tyson Barrie and Morgan Riley, but neither of them are really jumping out to me as like elite plays here.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right, let's go to Chicago and Vegas. 2.7 implied total for the Hawks, 3.7 for the Golden Knights. Robin Lehner expected to go, or no, I think it's Crawford actually. Crawford is confirmed, I'm pretty sure, against Marc-Andre Fleury. So I'll switch this after the show, got to update projections and such. What do we see new on the Vegas side here?
God, it's ugly. Cody Glass out. Chandler Stevenson in, centering the second line between Stone and Pacioretty. That's a three-winger line there, so you're going to be unable to play them on DraftKings if you want to double stack. I don't know what you want to do with that, but if you want to get creative maybe and pop in, like, I might do like one Vegas 2 triple winger, and then you go like Wheeler, Scheifele, and then another player from Vegas or from Winnipeg 1. That's not a bad option. Or you could just play Stastny with them and hope they change it up. Stastny took Carrier, and then Valentin Zaikov's been called up. He's replacing. Oh, I wrote that up wrong. I can't remember who's replacing. Nick Holden in for John Merrill on the defensive side of things, and I think everything's the same for Chicago.
Yeah, so Vegas is disappointed. Oh, go ahead.
One small thing. Adam Boqvist in. Daily Faceoff has him on the second power play unit. Slater Kiku is out.
Yeah, Chicago doesn't really matter to me tonight. I'm contemplating Xing out like at least the Strome to Brinkat Kane line. That line's bad at 5-on-5. Like their numbers are just not good. They're really terrible defensively. So when they go up against I guess one elite line plus you got Stevenson, who knows? He'll probably play okay with Pacioretty and Stone as his wingers if he even sticks there. But the Stastny, Pacioretty, Stone line is elite. You've got 3 good lines. Like they're not going to get like a soft matchup here at all. I don't really care what Vegas did last game. I'm all over Vegas here. That's actually a good point about playing Stastny with them. I don't know why I didn't think about that earlier when I was running some preliminary crunches. So I might end up doing that. Otherwise, I would just play Stevenson, Pacioretty, and Stone, the 3-winger line. You're going to get unique combos there because people just aren't willing to do that or aren't paying attention using optimizers. So you could just do like PP1 stacks and get double center elsewhere. Like it's pretty easy to do, and it's way too cheap, I think, with Pacioretty and Stone. Chicago, one of the worst teams on the road, if not the worst, as far as like chances against and all of that. So I'm slamming Vegas here. I just love them. Like, I don't care what they did before. Chicago is so bad on the road when they don't have last change. This just seems like an absolute drubbing waiting to happen. I'll probably be wrong on Vegas again.
I don't know. The last time we saw that was Vegas.
They've had some weird games. Like, no one was playing probably DFS on Sunday. Like, everyone was focused on NFL and stuff. But we always play on Sunday because there's a huge edge with late news and stuff. And they got crushed at home 5-0 to the Rangers. Like, they've just had some really weird, terrible losses at home. I think this seems like a pretty good get-right game. So Vegas 1, Vegas 2. I would have no problem if those were my 2 highest owned lines tonight. I think you can Josh stack it. Like, I think it's that good of a spot.
Yeah.
Theodore, 5K? What do you think?
You tell me, man.
Yeah.
You tell me.
Yeah. Definitely. It's kind of rhetorical. We always want Theodore. Where is the NBA show at? The NBA show will be on the YouTube channel. I don't know. You should be able to watch it. Is it live? Actually, let me check this.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're live. They're live.
Eddie for your notes. EMAC in.
Nice. The Mac on a weekday? We're getting EMAC on a weekday. All right. All right.
That's live before lockdown.
Before we go to this last game, if you guys could hit the like button. I see a ton of you are in here. Maybe you're looking for the NBA show. But anyways, if you're here and you're watching us and you like the content,
welcome.
Yeah, feel free to give us a like. That does really help us out. So even if you're looking for the NBA show, if you want to dish us a like and support the channel overall, the NBA guys benefit from this as well.
Oh yeah, appreciate it, NBA guys.
Yeah, so appreciate it. Thanks for watching. And real quick, giveaway one more time. Third time I'm going to mention this. Guess the player that's going to score the most fantasy points for a chance at an Osmo Plus NHL Season Pass. We want to get to 100 retweets and likes. So you just got to follow the directions here. Retweet, like it, put your guess, scroll through the guesses. Make sure you're not guessing someone that's, people have posted 4 or 5 times. Do someone a little bit contrarian, just like you're playing a single entry GPP or something like that. All right, last game, then we'll get out of here. Rangers, Kings, 2.9 implied total for the Rangers. 3.1 for the Kings. Henrik Lundqvist confirmed expected to be quick. What do we got here?
Prokorin is out. Luff is in for the Kings, and I got nothing on the Rangers side.
All right. We have Prokorin still in the second line. I will go and fix that and get the updated lines after the show. On the Rangers side, it's pretty clear what I want here, and that's Zibanejad, Panarin, and Kakko. The one problem with them is that they're probably going to see extended time against Kopitar, Iafallo, and Brown. I don't think you need to completely avoid them, but if they were getting to be like one of the more popular filler stacks, maybe then I would start to avoid them. Right now we've got Zibanejad. Actually, Zibanejad always gets some ownership. Where's Kakko at? That might be more talent. Yeah, we've got Kakko at under 3%, so I'm fine playing this line as a whole, fully correlated.
Like that.
And then the problem is, I don't really love playing heavy, 2 lines that are going to face off a lot against each other. So Kopitar line is also getting some ownership, and it makes sense. They're fully correlated. They're against this bad Rangers defense, but I'm going to end up playing some LA1. They can help me fit in a ton of Yossi and Theodore and Hiskinen and all these defensemen that I like in the upper and mid tier. Do you like any? What were the who's centering Carter and Toffoli? Did you say that?
Yeah, I forget, but let me pull it up.
Because we've also got this LA
Amadeo.
Amadio. Okay,
Yeah.
I actually like that a lot. So that might be my pivot actually off of LA1 because that's gonna be cheap.
I like that call.
Yeah, and I think you could play this third line for the Kings too if you're getting super deep.
Starting to sound like me. I've been hanging around me too long, Jake.
No, they have good numbers. They've actually had some okay results. They did almost bink me something a few weeks ago, so maybe it's just cognitive bias I've got going on right now. But if you're getting incredibly punty, if you're trying to fit in Yossi with Winnipeg 1 or something like that, they're going to get a great matchup. I think the Howden, Lemieux, Buchnevich line is one of the worst lines on the slate defensively. Edel, Kreider, Strome was horrid the last couple times they were out. The only good line right now is Zibanejad, Panarin, and Kakko, I think. So I'm just on LA here. Maybe a sprinkle of Rags 1, and that's really all I got. Anything else?
Right.
Anything?
That's it.
You want to mention any goalies and then our hat trick play of the night or whatever?
I got no hot takes on goalies tonight. I'm just gonna play a lot of Brossois.
Okay. I actually have a good amount of Blackwood. Interesting. I got to look into that. Got some Brossois. I'm gonna play some Antti-Ranta. There's no true value guy that really sticks out. What's Kakinen's price at? I think I ended up with a bunch of him. What's he at? 7,800. Yeah, I think he made the cheat sheets, so he's fine. I don't have a ton of hot takes on goalie, except maybe I'm playing a little bit too much Blackwood against the Chalk Stars. Any hat trick call for tonight?
Let me just pick anyone. I can't remember. Do we have rules?
Yeah, someone under 5%.
Oh, under 5%?
Yeah.
Oh my God, you want to go first?
Yeah. So this guy has been pretty disappointing for most of the season. He doesn't even project that well. It's kind of actually he's not under 5%. Whatever. I'm gonna take a guy I took last week on his same line. I was gonna take Stone, but he's above 5% on our ownership projections. Give me Pacioretty at 2.2% ownership.
2%?
Yeah. Overpriced. Got to do it.
Oh man, I was gonna take Stone, but he's 1% too much.
Yeah, I know.
You
can take Chandler Stevenson.
I can?
Go ahead.
This is gross. I'll take. Are there any Jets down here?
Probably Roslovic. You can have Roslovic if you want him.
No, I'm good.
All
I'm
right.
good on. I'll get this together for next time. I will just select. Let's go with Sebastian Aho.
Nice. Larkin, also a good call. I see Jeff in the YouTube chat. All right,
Yeah,
guys. Thanks for watching. Again, go participate in this giveaway. There's no reason not to. You can win a $280 value. Guess the player that's going to score the most fantasy points for tonight. 12-game slate. A lot of options. Shout out to Yahoo Daily Fantasy Sports. Thank you for sponsoring us. Use promo code AWESOMO to get up to $30 in Yahoo Sports rewards points. And go over and play on Yahoo. Support their NHL contest. They're trying to grow it a little bit. It looks like the $12 filling up pretty quickly, so I'm going to go enter that right after.
Let's go play Winnipeg 1.
Yeah, a little bit of 3 max if you want to go all in. There's a spot to do it. Less entries. You're not going to be dead if Winnipeg 1 disappoints either. So more cash equity over on Yahoo with the lower management fees. All right. It will, I think, just be myself tomorrow. I think we got a short slate. Nolan will be doing some other work. So thank you all for joining, and good luck tonight.
Good night.